This video explores the warships of the United States Navy that shaped the oceans of the 20th century. From aircraft carriers that redefined naval aviation to battleships that embodied American industrial power. These ships were not just machines of war, but tools of strategy, deterrence, and global influence. Together, they reveal how the U.S. Navy learned, adapted, and ultimately dominated modern naval warfare. Aircraft carriers. USS Enterprise was the most decorated American warship of World War II. From Pearl Harbor to Midway, Guadalcanal, and the final strikes against Japan, she was present at nearly every decisive naval battle in the Pacific. Her air groups crippled enemy carriers, sank battleships, and proved that naval aviation, not big guns, would decide modern wars. USS Lexington was one of America's first fleet aircraft carriers and a symbol of the Navy's transition from battleships to air power. She played a key role in the early Pacific War before being lost at the Battle of the Coral Sea, where carrier aircraft fought each other for the first time in history. USS Saratoga was a powerful but often unlucky carrier, repeatedly damaged yet constantly repaired and returned to combat. Her long service life made her a test bed for carrier tactics, training, and post-war experiments, shaping how the U.S. Navy would operate carriers for decades. USS Yorktown became legendary at the Battle of Midway. After being heavily damaged, she was hastily repaired and sent back into combat within days. Her aircraft helped sink 2 Japanese carriers, and her sacrifice turned Midway into the decisive turning point of the Pacific War. USS Essex represented the future of American naval power. As the lead ship of the most successful carrier class ever built, she combined speed, protection, and massive air power. The Essex-class carriers overwhelmed Japan through sheer numbers and efficiency, forming the backbone of U.S. naval dominance. Battleships. USS Arizona symbolized the end of the battleship era before it truly began. Sunk during the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, the ship never fired a shot in World War II combat. Its destruction shocked the American public and became a powerful catalyst for U.S. entry into the war. Today, Arizona remains a submerged memorial, representing loss, awakening, and the cost of unpreparedness. USS Nevada was the only battleship to attempt escape during the Pearl Harbor attack. Despite being heavily damaged, it demonstrated the value of improved armor layout and internal protection. Repaired and modernized, Nevada later provided naval gunfire support in Normandy, southern France, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa, proving the continued relevance of battleships in shore bombardment roles. USS Pennsylvania served primarily as a command and support battleship throughout the Pacific War. Although present at Pearl Harbor, it escaped total destruction and returned to active service. The ship participated in major operations across the Central Pacific, delivering heavy firepower against fortified islands. Pennsylvania represented the steady, methodical use of battleships rather than dramatic single engagements. USS North Carolina marked a new generation of fast battleships designed to operate alongside aircraft carriers. Entering service in 1941, it combined speed, firepower, and advanced anti-aircraft defenses. The ship protected carrier task forces during key Pacific campaigns, highlighting the shift of battleships from fleet centerpiece to carrier escort and air defense platform. USS Washington achieved one of the few decisive battleship versus battleship victories of World War II. During the naval battle of Guadalcanal in 1942, it sank the Japanese battleship Kirishima using radar-directed gunfire. This engagement demonstrated the lethal effectiveness of modern fire control systems and marked the final evolution of battleship combat. Cruisers. USS Pensacola represented the U.S. Navy's early attempt to balance firepower and treaty limits. Armed with 10 8-inch guns, she carried heavy offensive punch but sacrificed armor, making her vulnerable in surface engagements. Throughout the Pacific War, Pensacola provided gunfire support and escorted carriers, surviving damage that highlighted both her strengths and flaws. USS Portland was a more refined heavy cruiser, improving protection while retaining strong firepower. She played a crucial role at the Battle of Midway, where her guns helped disable the Japanese carrier Akagi. Portland later supported major amphibious landings, demonstrating the cruiser's versatility as both a fleet escort and shore bombardment platform. USS Indianapolis is best remembered for her tragic sinking in 1945, but her service record was extensive. She supported invasions across the Pacific and carried components of the first atomic bomb to Tinian Island. Her loss, after being torpedoed by a Japanese submarine, became one of the most controversial naval disasters in U.S. history. USS New Orleans embodied resilience. After losing most of her bow at the Battle of Tassafaronga, she returned to port under her own power. Repaired and returned to combat, New Orleans went on to fight in multiple campaigns, earning a reputation for durability under extreme damage. USS Cleveland, a light cruiser armed with rapid-firing 6-inch guns, showcased the shift toward anti-aircraft warfare. Her high rate of fire made her a deadly defender against air attacks. Serving primarily as a carrier escort, Cleveland symbolized how cruisers adapted to the carrier-dominated naval battlefield. Destroyers. USS Fletcher, DD-445, represented the backbone of the U.S. Navy's destroyer force in World War II. The Fletcher class combined speed, long range, and heavy armament, allowing these ships to escort carriers, screen battleships, hunt submarines, and fight surface actions. With 5-inch dual-purpose guns and powerful torpedo batteries, Fletcher-class destroyers proved adaptable to every major naval role. USS Johnston, DD-557, became legendary during the Battle off Samar in October 1944. Facing an overwhelmingly superior Japanese surface force, Johnston charged battleships and cruisers to protect American escort carriers. Despite catastrophic damage, she continued fighting until sinking, becoming a symbol of destroyer courage and sacrifice. USS Laffey, DD-459, earned fame for surviving intense combat in both conventional naval battles and kamikaze attacks. At the Battle of Guadalcanal, Laffey engaged enemy battleships at point-blank range. Later, off Okinawa, she endured multiple suicide plane hits yet remained afloat, demonstrating the resilience of U.S. destroyer design and damage control. USS Kidd, DD-661, often called the Pirate of the Pacific, served extensively in carrier escort and anti-aircraft roles. Named after Admiral Isaac Kidd, who died aboard USS Arizona, Kidd participated in major operations from the Philippines to Okinawa, providing critical air defense against Japanese aircraft. USS Benson, DD-421, represented an earlier generation of U.S. destroyers that bridged pre-war and wartime design. Benson-class ships served in both the Atlantic and Pacific, escorting convoys, conducting anti-submarine patrols, and supporting amphibious landings. Together, these destroyers illustrated how speed, flexibility, and aggressive tactics made U.S. destroyers indispensable throughout the war. Escorts. USS England became one of the most effective anti-submarine escort ships of World War II. In May 1944, she destroyed 6 Japanese submarines in just 12 days using coordinated sonar tracking and depth charge attacks, demonstrating the lethal efficiency of hunter-killer escort doctrine. USS Samuel B. Roberts earned legendary status during the Battle off Samar in 1944. Facing overwhelming Japanese surface forces, the lightly armed escort fought with extreme aggression, launching torpedoes and gunfire until destroyed, embodying the spirit of sacrifice in naval warfare. USS Evarts represented early American escort ship design focused on convoy protection. Though smaller and slower, she provided essential anti-submarine coverage across the Pacific, ensuring supply lines remained intact during critical amphibious and island-hopping operations. USS Buckley was involved in one of the most unusual naval engagements of the war. In 1944, she rammed and boarded a German U-boat after a close-range fight, highlighting the brutal, personal nature of escort warfare in the Atlantic. USS Tacoma served as a patrol frigate optimized for long-range escort missions. She operated in rough seas, protecting convoys and conducting patrols before later being transferred to Allied navies, reflecting the global utility of American escort ship production. Submarines. USS Gato represented the foundation of the U.S. Navy's World War II submarine force. Designed for long-range patrols across the Pacific, the Gato class combined endurance, heavy torpedo armament, and improved habitability for extended missions. These submarines carried the bulk of early American undersea warfare, disrupting Japanese shipping lanes and establishing tactics that would define submarine operations for the rest of the war. USS Balao introduced a stronger pressure hull, allowing deeper dives and improved survivability compared to earlier designs. The Balao class became the most numerous American submarine class of the war, operating aggressively against enemy convoys. Their ability to absorb damage and continue fighting made them a decisive tool in the campaign to strangle Japan's maritime supply network. USS Tang was the most successful American submarine in terms of confirmed sinkings. Commanded by Richard O'Kane, Tang perfected aggressive night surface attacks and precise torpedo employment. Its combat record demonstrated how experience, tactics, and crew coordination could transform a single submarine into a strategic-level threat. USS Wahoo became a symbol of aggressive American submarine warfare early in the Pacific Campaign. Under Dudley Mush Morton, Wahoo attacked heavily defended targets in shallow waters, breaking conservative doctrines. Though lost in 1943, its influence reshaped submarine command culture across the fleet. USS Albacore was renowned for sinking the Japanese aircraft carrier Taiho during the Battle of the Philippine Sea. Its patrols focused on high-value targets, including capital ships. Albacore's success highlighted the submarine's role not only in commerce raiding, but in directly shaping major fleet engagements. Amphibious ships. USS Bayfield served as an attack transport, carrying troops and landing them directly onto contested beaches. It took part in major Pacific operations, coordinating complex amphibious assaults under fire. USS President Jackson specialized in large-scale troop movements, delivering assault forces during key invasions across the Pacific. USS Ashland, LSD-1. As the first dock landing ship, Ashland could flood its well deck to launch landing craft, revolutionizing amphibious logistics. USS Casa Grande supported amphibious landings by transporting and deploying landing craft close to shore. USS LST-325 carried tanks, vehicles, and troops directly onto beaches, proving essential to Allied amphibious warfare. Command ships. USS Mount McKinley served as a primary amphibious command ship, coordinating large-scale landings through centralized communications and joint force planning. USS Rocky Mount functioned as a mobile headquarters, enabling fleet commanders to direct complex naval and amphibious operations in real time. USS Ancon provided command, control, and logistics coordination during major amphibious assaults across multiple Pacific theaters. USS Catoctin supported senior commanders by integrating naval, air, and ground operations from a single floating command platform. USS Blue Ridge served as a command hub, ensuring continuous coordination between task forces during extended amphibious campaigns.